when you work in the world of television, you do find that there are certain people that believe they're owed certain things, the way that they want their own car and they won't share it with you. I remember literally, being reporting in Buckingham Palace and a car for a so-called anchor, superstar presenter turned up. And I just said, is it possible to get a lift back, to the nearest tube station? They said yes, right? And so I got in the car and very nicely they dropped me off at the tube station. About an hour later, I received a phone call from that particular channel. And they said to me not to do that again because I put the anchor in a very uncomfortable situation. Diva or what? And I said to them, well, why couldn't they just tell me that, they didn't want to give me the lift? Oh, well, they couldn't do that, but that's the talent and you shouldn't be driving in the same car as the talent. And I thought, what a load of rubbish. And that's when I realised working in television is full of absolutely nutty people. There's no two ways about it. And of course you live and learn with it all, right? But here's where this gets really interesting, because when you're being given a golden opportunity, the first thing you don't do, if you've had a good 10 years of making excellent money, you've been given opportunities to open things, to appear on things, to write books, you've built up a huge brand, all at the expense of somebody else. Well, then you don't do this. Let me explain. Morning, chums. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you? All right? I'm not so bad, thank you. It's a bit lackluster, wasn't it? You all right? I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, the thing that I do, as I say, I find this very annoying with people. This woman, Nadia Hussain, do you remember when she made that cake for the Queen? I think I could do better myself. I might as well have just got the Mary Baker mixer thing out and had a crack. This apparently is a celebrity cook, baker, whatever you want to call her. Now, Nadia is griping because apparently, according to her, after 10 years with the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC, they're now not making any more of her cookery shows. Now, just get this into perspective, 10 years. They sent this woman around the world. She's had some fantastic trips. They've had books from her. She's appeared on everything. They've been very supportive. And then here's the nib of the story, right? She's very disappointed. Yeah, because, 10 years and everything. But the thing is, being a Muslim woman, she doesn't necessarily have a seat at the table and the voices aren't heard and everything. They always have to bring it back to that, don't they? They can never just say, you know what, really grateful of the opportunity. I was just a competition winner on the Great British Bake Off. I've done incredibly well. Can't thank them enough. On to new adventures. No, griping. And I like the fact that finally the BBC, or somebody in the BBC at least, has found a spine and decided to respond back, because the true story is that Nadia's shows were costing more and more money, particularly when they're sent on junkets and stuff like that. And they're simply not getting the ratings in. Everybody now watches cookery shows virtually online, and you have to think that they have to have a big crew, colorists, kitchen, all of that sort of stuff. Now, they're not saying they wouldn't work with Nadia again. And when you think about it, she seems a pleasant enough person. But why spoil it all at the end by basically saying, well, because of my background? It's nothing to do with religion. It's to simply do with ratings. But most people have already pointed out, imagine presenting a cake like that to the Queen. And people say the Queen didn't have a sense of humour. Apparently she said, oh, how delightful. And just casually moved on. As I said, I think I could have done a better effort myself. But as for Nadia, I'd be very careful if I were you, dear, putting out these sort of assumptions and bon mots in the media, because quite frankly, nobody has the money to pay for egos. And the only thing that television, the mainstream media, legacy media will now pay for is if you can bring in a rating, because they need advertising, be able to sell the show around the world. And if they can't do that, well then you're cooked. And that truly is your story. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.